Okay, we've got our Evolve 1 electric skateboard here, and last week we were riding it and the motor kind of seized up on us, and it started kind of grinding and wasn't working well. And it looks like there's a few others that have had this same issue or a similar issue. So we are going to swap the motor out today, and hopefully that will fix our problem. But let me turn that over. Whoops. Sorry about that. So it doesn't turn very smoothly at all. Nothing's on the belt. I even took our cover off, checked everything. I emailed Evolve, and they were really good. They put a replacement motor in the mail, and this is it right here. So we're going to put this bad boy in, see if that fixes our problem. Let me turn it on so you can hear what this sounds like. That is not what it's supposed to sound like. So it is grinding on something. It's almost, you know, we were riding it in a smooth parking lot. There was no gravel. So who knows what the problem is, but anyway, you get the idea. So we are going to turn this guy off. Turn the remote off. Okay. And perform some surgery. So first thing we got to do here is we take that motor cover off. And there's just two screws. Let's see if we can get screw right here and right here. Okay, so I've loosened the two screws on this this cover here. We just pull that off. Put this over here to the side. The next thing you want to do is loosen these four screws here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is what kind of holds that drive, holds that motor on to the. Loosen those guys. Then this way we can get the belt off. Don't have my helper here today, otherwise we'd have better filming. Sorry about that. So you can see that that belt's starting to loosen. One more. Okay, so now we can take this belt off, and then we're going to undo our wheel here. I've already loosened that up quite a bit, so hopefully. Okay, don't want to lose your washer. There's always a washer. You can see it right there. So that just slides up. See, there we go. See that little guy? You don't want to lose him. So when we slide that off, the wheel gear comes, you know, that little drive gear comes off too. So we're going to put that right there with our wheel. So this is what we're looking like. Pull this guy off, and then it's just a matter of now removing this motor from this housing, or from this bracket here. You just need to unscrew these 4 screws. I've already got that one, he's kind of fallen, and then this one. So we've got this guy. We'll bring him up and out. See if we can get some of these other guys. Oh, and there goes our motor. I don't recommend doing it that way. I probably ought to have two hands on that to hold that motor from dropping, but there you go. So we're going to take this motor. It's now loose. It's still hooked up to the electronics though. So we're going to keep that motor, put it down there. Take our screws, put them over here. All right, so this is what we've got going so far. Now, we flip the board over. And you can see we've got these 8 screws on the top, not the screws that hold the trucks in, but these on either side. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8. That's what keeps the battery hooked onto the board. So we just need to unscrew each of those. So I got our 8 screws unscrewed on the top of the deck, and we're going to turn this over. You can see that this battery comes off like that to reveal our circuits and stuff here. Alright, that's what the inside of a battery looks like. We are going to pull some of these wires apart, and I'll show you which ones here. So we're going to start with this guy right here, which is the power cord from this section to the battery. So we want to disconnect that first, and that's this red connector. So we get that unconnected, disconnected, and then the main power from our motor, we can just pull that, and that will disconnect that. Then we've got this little guy down here, this little white guy, if you can see him, and underneath it there's a tab. Okay. So what I did is I got this little screwdriver, this little flathead screwdriver, and I got in there, let's see if we can, whoops, sorry. And there's that little tab right there. And I popped it up, and then it came out. This is what it looks like. So you've got to kind of go like this and push on that tab, and then pull it out. Okay, so we've got the motor out. This is what we're looking like. Okay, so this is the old motor. We'll put that over there. Now we have our new motor. So basically, we just need to hook that up just like we unhooked the other one, so in the same spots. So this guy, so we'll put this motor here. We will hook this yellow guy up to here, and there's a little notch right there that you can see. That little notch goes into this little groove, so to make sure that you put it in the right spot. So okay, that's in. And now our white connector, we'll put that one back in, and we'll put it into the left side here. Make sure to get that. It's kind of tricky when it's so small. Maybe I can use that little screwdriver to push it in. There we go. Did you hear that click? That means it's in. Then we've got to take our power connector that connects the battery, and then put that in, put that together. Okay, and then this was kind of tucked in that corner and then moved right there. Okay, well, it looks like we have it on. So if we were to turn this guy on right here, just in theory, and then turn on that remote, this drive would spin. Sam, you want to hold that drive just kind of like that by the cord. This is not what I'd recommend either, but I just want to show. Okay, so it does spin, and we'll see how it does. So we're all hooked up and ready to go. Hold on to those. Take our motor, put it over there. Go ahead and put that battery pack and everything back on. Screwed all the bolts in that are found on this side of the board, those eight screws. So I took that motor and I threaded it up underneath here. So you can see we just came up through. I've put a couple of screws in. I'm not doing them tight, I'm just doing them enough to hold this motor in place so that when I get the belt on, we can have some wiggle room and tighten things up. See, I have these screws in place and the motor is now on the mount. And the cool thing there, you don't want to do them too tight because you want just a little bit of movement so you can tighten that belt up once you put your wheel on. Okay, so what I did is I just put the belt around the wheel gear on the wheel, and then we're going to move this motor in just a little bit. Pull this belt up. Oops, sorry, I needed both hands there. I really need a tripod or something. So we can pull that belt up and then pull it and then put it over this little drive here. So, and then what we can do is we can pull these, that's what I'm going to do next, pull these guys tight and then, you know, tighten those bad boys up. First we'll put on our wheel, put that little washer on. Turn our wheel. Okay, so our belt is on the drive. Everything looks like it's in Ordnung. Okay, well, I'll tighten that belt up a little bit. Tighten these 4 screws down. We'll put our cover back on and see if things work. Okay, I needed both hands, so I finished. That belt might be a little tight. I've noticed that if they're too tight, they make some noise when you're going faster. But if they're loose, they'll slip on you when you're trying to brake. So we'll see how that is. That seems a little tight, but I got all 4 of these guys tightened. And actually, let's just turn it on. Down there, got our remote. Hey, that sounds delightful. And we're good. Take that bad boy out and test it. All right, just took this for a spin. Works like a champ. We've got the belt on. The tension is actually just about right. Motor spins great. No grinding noises and locking up. So there you go. Done and done. So now we just need to put our belt cover on. Put that belt cover on there. Put your 2 screws in the belt cover. And you're good.